Okay, why don't we go around the room and just say our names. I'm Paul Scheid.
I'm Juhi Lee.
I'm Joe Grassel.
I'm Gordon.
All right, it sounds like we're having a little bit of connectivity troubles with Gordon, but I guess Juhi.
Jim is the one that is connected.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess Juhi or.
Yeah, I can start.
Go ahead,
off
Juhi.
for today. Yeah. So, yeah. As for development notes, for the past week, I have gone through some of the location-related bugs and fixed them. Now this means that I've added the country field to the account model, so that's something to note. And you will need to call the migrate function for Django in order for the database to be properly synced. So that's a note for everybody, since that has been merged into dev. If you're experiencing any migration or database issues, make sure you migrate. And then I have looked into the Python 2.3 function that I know someone else was working on, and I've tested the 3 version, and I pushed some changes that prevented the code from running. So from my end, it looks good. We haven't really heard from Briley yet in terms of a review. So if anyone else wants to look into the 2.3 pull request that is open right now,
1, 2,
that
3.
would be great.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Mitchell, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sweet. Okay, we gotta figure out now which one is working. Okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it as is.
Okay, yeah. I believe Joe was looking into the 2.3 or the upgrade to the 3, so maybe add him to the pull request.
Oh, it wasn't Joe working on it? He's already he's gone through the code.
Yeah, I'm on the pull request.
Yeah, he's already on the pull request. I believe all the changes that I requested has gone through, and it looks good for now. The only change I guess that's left is to make changes on the server side end to make sure it uses Python 3 instead of Python 2. But yeah, looks good for now.
Joe, do you mind giving us an update?
Yeah. So, like the commits look pretty good. Just some issues with certain functions that didn't really work right in Python 3 as opposed to like the earlier version. So those like seem pretty cleaned up, and yeah, basically what Juhi said looks good.
Okay, and so I'm sorry. I guess I don't fully understand what's the next step for this Python 2.3. Is it the server, the change of the server so that it's running 3?
So, there are some documentation notes that we do have to change. For example, the development instructions and all that. Those are minor changes that should be made so that everything is in sync.
Okay. Do we have an issue for that?
No. So an issue should be made in relation to the pull request where. The pull request is essentially blocked by other kind of documenting related changes. And I'll go ahead and make that so that we can look into it later.
Okay. Joe and Juhi, or I guess Joe first. Do you have an idea for what your next issue is going to be? Have you assigned yourself onto something?
Yeah. So last week we were talking about the moderation issue and possible like administrator and moderator privileges for removing like comments that were obnoxious or like trolling or whatever. And that issue, I believe, has been opened up on the Waffle board, which I assigned myself to that one. And I proposed a draft of what I might do for that as a comment on there. So if someone could like check into that and see if that's like a pretty good strategy right there, that'd be nice.
Do you know which GitHub issue you're talking about?
It's 182.
Okay, I see it. And Juhi, do you have an idea for? I guess are you still working on the Python 3 stuff?
I mean, as long as the documentation stuff is done, I'm done with the Python 3 stuff, or looking over the Python 3 stuff. My plans for the coming week was to look into creating the linear relation between the civies. I've finished that on the front end part, but there was nothing implemented in terms of civi linking restrictions in the back end. So I'm going to get on that. I've already assigned myself to it, and that is issue number 149. And
Hello?
and then I'm gonna move on to issue number 82, which is to refactor the backbone library.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Gordon, do you want to give us an update of what you've been working on?
Well, one of the things I've done is I was working on bug number 171. It's the imports when going from Python 2 to Python 3. There's been, I used a bunch of automated tools to try and find those as I could. I've gone through a bunch of it manually. So far, everything that's clear, good to go. So I think, I'm pushed to GitHub now, and hopefully, so we can go ahead and call that one done once we are complete. And that pushes us to solve bug number 18, which is the going from Python 2 to Python 3.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find these on the Waffle board. I don't see
The Waffle board
18.
open
Is it?
the screen share if you want to look in that.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
If you
Okay,
go to search and search my name, it'll pull bottom one in the not the finished column, but the column right next to it. Oops. Anyhow.
Gotcha. Okay, is there anyone else on this call, or is it Mitchell? Are you there?
I'm listening. Oh, yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, we
So
can.
I just haven't talked because I wasn't sure. The main update I think I'm getting. Okay, I think you're only hearing me on one of the two. Either way, I got things broken. Anyway, thank you for running the meeting as you have. Oh, gosh. I'm getting kind of like mic response on my end as I have two things open right now. Yeah, no, I think that we're covering what I want from the meeting is simply for everybody to have clear direction for the next week. And I'm sorry, I've been kind of distracted trying to get these. My microphone on my computer doesn't seem to work, and then my phone can get called in, but it's been a little bit sketchy. So apologies for the confusion.
Okay, so for, I guess, Juhi, Joe, and Goku, do you guys have any questions about stuff that to be working on, or are you guys all set for the next week?
I just want to say, like, could someone please look at my comment on 182 and just look at the basic steps I described there and see if that's like a logical progression?
Yep, I can do that. I'll get right on it after this call.
Okay, thank you.
And
any other issues from Gordon?
Okay, Gordon, are you all set?
Yeah. Are you all set? Because I know you have some tasks in terms of milestone 2 that you have assigned to yourself. Just wondering how those are going in terms of planning or coding.
Good. I plan. Excuse me. I'm trying to find my waffle board here. I've got 40,000.
Yeah, and I have the waffle board screen shared on my screen if you want to look at that.
My machine, I've got because I've got it, reduced down to so issues here. Like I said, this week I plan on closing out issue 121, bug 161, and those are just done. And then after that, I'll from the next item from the prioritized backlog. None of you guys are blocked waiting for me.
And there's some other ones that I know. There's a docstring one, issue number 21 that you assigned to, and yeah, just a reminder if you're looking for things to do. And then
people continue to push stuff up. Yeah, as people continue to push stuff up, I plan, trying to add doc strings and stuff like that, and just doing pushes all at once rather than increments.
So just a reminder to everyone, make sure to, even if it's incomplete work, it's totally fine. Make sure to push up your work and create a pull request. Not just so that we can see your progress, but other people can see kind of what you're doing and making sure there's no overlap of jobs getting done.
Okay.
That's a good point, Juhi. It's something that I feel like when we started off the project with fewer people, we kind of kept a lot of our progress internal, on our own private groups. And so I think pushing up stuff as soon as possible is definitely helpful for as the group grows.
Okay. Unless anybody has anything else, I think we've covered the development update part of the meeting.
Yeah, what I'll do.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's fine if we jump off. I'm going to send Briley an email, try and touch base with him. I know that he was online earlier because he did push up he closed an issue at 9:30 this morning. So he's somewhere. So I'm going to send him an email. And if anyone has any questions for me, because I was not able to contribute much to this meeting, feel free to reach out to me via email or on the Riot chat. The one other issue I was going to talk about is I did open a separate Riot channel for the CiviWiki community discussion. We had a couple of people join it, but how we would want to integrate that with new users joining the system. With us only having 9 minutes left or so, we could open up a Lumio discussion or discuss that on Riot itself. But that was one issue that I wanted to cover this week, just how we wanted to try and set up a system for new CiviWiki users to be able to communicate with each other, and whether this Riot channel that I opened up and invited a few people to would work, because I think I invited Briley, Juhi, and Paul as an initial group, but wanted to get some feedback on that if we have just a couple of minutes.
I believe so. In terms of GitHub issues, I believe we already have a GitHub issue for that, and if we want to have a more in-depth discussion, we could have it on. Right? I'm not sure what more we can discuss about it, other than the fact that, other than the facts of like where we put the plugs for the links for that chat.
Yeah, I think that's the important part. It would just be, so one, that's a good point. We should discuss on the issue. I don't know what issue number that is. And then two, yes, the main question that we might take onto that issue after this meeting is, so is it 179 CiviWiki communication?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So maybe we should discuss. I've invited you to this channel. Let's see if we think that this room is a good idea for hosting discussion for our new CiviWiki users. Then I say we should talk on that issue about how we would want to integrate that channel with the user sign-up process.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. That was the main issue I wanted to raise. If anyone has something related to that or another issue they want to raise, we can do that real quickly. But if we were coming to the end of the meeting, we can certainly also close off and give people time to jump back into work.
All right, I guess we're all good.
I'm good.
Now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I will be available, as I said, via email and otherwise. And let's have a good week of work.
Talk to you guys next week.
Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, later, guys.